Okay, hello there everyone and welcome to this special presentation called a Backstage Pass, a first look at our upcoming Las Vegas investment seminar. So that's right, we are delighted because we're going to be taking our flagship event, our 2-day investment seminar on the road to the beautiful Venetian Resort Hotel and Casino right there in the thick of the action actually, right there on the Las Vegas Strip. So it'll be like my 50 some odd trip to Vegas. So certainly not a new experience for this guy, but what we're delighted to be doing is having a nice venue for those of you to attend so that you can get the information that you need. And it's an opportunity to get out towards the West Coast and visit with folks on that side of the United States this time around. So we're so accustomed to being down in Tampa. It's great to branch out and get a new venue and one that should really be dynamite. So we're excited about that. And this is an event that you do not want to miss. And so we're going to talk about the different opportunities that this is going to present, both live and, of course, live streamed as we get deeper into the presentation itself. But this is not only an event you don't want to miss, this is an event that if you have the opportunity, you want to bring a friend, you want to bring a family member. This is an event that can change people's lives. And so we're excited about it. Once again, taking the flagship event, our 2-day investment seminar, out to the lovely Venetian Hotel and Casino right there on the Las Vegas Strip, September 2021. So it's our first voyage really into a Saturday-Sunday event as well, which should open up some doors for some folks who had trouble making the Friday-Saturday type event that we traditionally do down there in Tampa as well. So just excited that folks are going to have this opportunity, and we wanted to share with you what the opportunity is all about so that can help you make your decisions. And we're not going to be doing any teaching in this. We're just going to be kind of giving you a look at what the event is all about and why it may be important for you to go or attend. All right, so let's jump into that a little bit more carefully here, and let's talk about the why. Why go at all? Why should you or any of your friends or any of your family members go to this event? Well, quite simply, to better secure your or their financial future, whether that be put the kids through school or retire more comfortably or whatever that scenario might be for that individual. We are going to be showing techniques and tactics that make money and produce better than average stock market returns. And at the end of the day, that's the name of the game, is to beat the market. Else, simply go out and just buy some mutual funds, right? So no matter who you are, no matter what your current financial objectives are, there's going to be a solution that's provided at this 2-day event that you could partake in and make sure that you take that first step into making your financial dreams a reality. Okay. And so that's coming from us who have gone before you and are now even in some cases teaching the event, right? We've all been in those shoes. We've been in your shoes. And I think universally, you'll find that everybody would encourage you to go. In fact, I've been teaching this. I've been very privileged. I've been teaching this event personally. I think I've only missed 2 ever in the last 24 years. And so this is nobody has ever asked for their money back. Everybody's always thought that this was the best investment of 2 days that they could ever do in terms of securing their financial future. And so it behooves you to hopefully listen to all of us. And let's give you a little bit further taste of what this event is going to be all about and how we're going to get you there. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to learn how to not just beat the market, but hopefully beat the pants off the market averages. I mean, that's really when things get a lot of fun. And we can do so very systematically, very simply, and proven. These are going to be systems that have been developed long ago in many cases that continue to work and continue to outpace the market averages. And so that's what it's really about. Okay, we can get you in situations like this where your portfolio literally goes up and goes up nicely year after year after year after year. Every once in a while, you might have a year like 2021 into 2022 where it doesn't do quite as much as you hope, right? But generally speaking, moving the needle every single year, year after year, and outpacing the stock market by a good bit overall. And so the problem that a lot of folks are confronted with, unfortunately, the problem that stands in the way for many folks is you get buried. And this day, I kind of think about the evolution of financial products and services over sort of the 24 years that I've been involved here at VectorVest. And we used to say you got inundated with data as many as 10 or 12 years ago. I can remember making that claim. And it was true. You know, your email inbox would just be inundated with things telling you buy this and don't buy that and do this and do that and don't do that. And, you know, all these things. But now it's TV, it's social media, right? It's just, there's more and more information coming at us, and it's more and more difficult for us to focus on the things that are really and truly important and the things that are really going to move the needle. And so if you're not careful, you end up just being overloaded and not doing anything right. And so we want to prevent that. What we want to do is present proven plans. We want to avoid the big mistake, the most crucial one. People find a lot of value in complication for whatever reason. This is another major hurdle, that we've got to try to overcome. Is people see a lot of interesting tools and things on charts and so forth. They feel that there's got to be a lot of value in what I'm looking at because my goodness, look at all this stuff, And so it's got to be good. But I've actually found in my 24 years that it's quite the opposite. I've found that, there's really three things that move the needle the most. And that's knowing when to buy, what you should be buying, and when you should sell it in the future. And if you know those three things, all the other stuff, if you're not careful, it just gets in the way. So this event is all about boiling it down based upon investor temperament into accomplishing those three factors. When am I going to start buying something? What am I going to start buying? And when am I going to sell it in the future? And when you know those three things, that is a complete system. It's all you need. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about how to fix it. Let's talk about how to do just that. Let's talk about how to focus on the three things that are right. In order to do that, of course, you still need a plan. All of these plans are very carefully laid out. They're very simple. They are also proven. They have worked historically. They've worked in real time. They are working for folks literally right now as we speak. They're all at play. And they're all working well. And so let's talk about it. At the event, you're going to learn from the coaches themselves. You're going to learn from the people who are orchestrating the plans. You're going to learn how you can then do that yourself. You're also going to learn that if you'd like, you can get involved with a coaching group. And we can then help ensure that you stick to the plan. What I find a lot of people struggle with is I know all the rules, I know what I should be doing, but I still have this question about should I do it right now, or should, what's the one thing I ought to be thinking about today in regards to that plan? And so just situations or questions come up, and if we're not careful, we can get offline and not be sticking to the plan. So you do have the opportunity to do that as well, to get involved with a coaching group, and we'll be talking a lot about that at the show also. But let's talk about the plan. So the first plan, the simplest and easiest and core VectorVest approach is what we call Successful Investor. And Todd Schaefer, of course, leads this group up. He does a bang-up job. He trades live in front of our customers so that you can see what Todd is doing in accordance to that plan every week, which is phenomenal. And his average, he's aiming to get about 15% a year, year after year after year. And if you know a little bit about compounding, maybe you know, or perhaps you don't, what's called the rule of 72. Okay. The rule of 72 is you take your compounded rate of return and you divide that into 72, and that'll tell you how long it takes to double your money. So in the case of 15% a year compounded, okay, you're talking about doubling your money in a little over every close to 3.5 years. And so 100,000 becomes 200,000, 200,000 becomes 400,000, 400,000 becomes 800,000. And you know your own multiples and you can do your own math. Okay. But as you can see there, it starts to escalate quite quickly the longer you're involved. Okay. And so just by doing 15% a year and doing so in a very safe and easy, proven manner, that can change your life in a big, big way. So it's a lot of fun. He's going to be talking all about the techniques. He's not going to be there live. He's going to be telecasting in. But it's a dynamic presentation, and it's one that you do not want to miss. And it is the simplest, easiest way we've ever discovered to make money using our product. There is no simpler, no easier, no more proven plan than this one, Successful Investor. On top of that, we're going to be talking about retirement services. Retirement services is a more comprehensive and complete plan if you're somebody that is shooting for retirement lifestyle, right? You're shooting for more income. You're shooting for retiring with peace of mind, knowing that all that income is that continual stream is going to keep funneling in. And so not only do you get the exceptional stock portfolio performance, and in some cases, Jim's portfolios have been doing even better. Now, Todd's taken the reins here, and it's really the methodology that's been, accomplishing all of that. But, in this, it's not just stock appreciation and outperforming the market and making 15% a year that way. In addition, it's about getting dividend income as an income stream. And because yields these days are not the way they used to be, where you could get 12 or 14% in the days of the yield premium, right? These days, a good, safe, growing, quality dividend may get you about 4% a year, 4.5% if you're really lucky. And so because in many cases that may not be enough income stream, we also teach using options as a way to supercharge that income stream and produce even more income. And so we can do that vis-a-vis both selling covered calls along with credit spreads. And, you'll learn a lot about that at the show. And we also use options as a defense mechanism to truly make your retirement portfolio, which these are generally larger, multi-million-dollar portfolios in many cases, right? So one of the main goals is to try to make those what we call worry-free situations, right? Where we can use options from a defensive standpoint when we're in confirmed down situations to make sure that the portfolio doesn't completely unravel, if we're not careful. So it's wonderful. You'll learn about how to buy puts as an insurance policy and even how to sell calls to help offset what can sometimes be, pretty expensive premiums when you need them. So it's very dynamic. I'm going to be doing the presentation for this particular bit in Las Vegas. And fortunate for everyone, I've been taking care of a retirement portfolio for myself for a long time. So we'll be in good shape while we're there at the show. All right. In addition to that, we're going to be talking about swing trading coaching. Definitely need to update these slides a little bit going forward. I think Jerry's up quite a bit more than this at this point. But this is Jerry D'Ambrosio, and he is our swing trading guru here at VectorVest these days. I pitch in when at all possible in this arena as well. I'm kind of the jack of all trades, I suppose. I'm very fortunate to have a lot of training over my 24 years. But Jerry's a great trader, and he's going to be showing a couple of the very dynamic, very simple, again, proven techniques that have generated over 40% returns live through brokerages in front of customers last year. And then already this year, he's up, actually ahead of that pace, at least at the time that this screenshot was taken. So you want to talk about moving the needle. This is a great way to do that. And so some folks, this could be all that you do, particularly if maybe you're younger, you're in a position where you could do a little bit more risk more heavily, or you can slice off a tranche of capital that you're comfortable with and use this as another avenue to grow that capital more quickly. And you'd be surprised what that can do for you in terms of the overall pie, right? So this is something that can be part of what you do, or it can be all that you do. It's that good. And boy, I tell you, he's been just hitting the cover off the ball, which is great. Then let's talk about how the 2 days break down, okay? Because there's more to it than just going through how we accomplish those particular portfolios. What we're going to do on the first morning, this will be Saturday the 20th, as we get together that morning, of course, there'll be a continental breakfast if you're live and at the show. In addition to that, the whole morning is really centered around or catered to knowing what you need to know in terms of the successful investor. The reason being, this is where we cover all of our core philosophies here at VectorVest. So we're going to dive deep into a lot of our proprietary algorithms and what they are and what they mean, and really dive a lot deeper than maybe you've ever seen that before. And then in addition to that, by the time we get to the end of this morning, we wrap it all up into a complete plan. Okay, and that's market timing, all the way to stock selection, all the way to the stop losses you should consider using to manage your positions. So it's a really great way to kick things off, because this is grassroots VectorVest, and it's really all you need to know. This is something, if you're brand new to VectorVest, you want to pay the most attention to this first morning. This is what you must know. Let's put it that way, right? Then it's a building block. So everything that we're going to show for the remainder of the course, we assume this knowledge here and we build on it and make it a little bit more specialized. Okay. So in the afternoon of day one, we start to get into, well, let's face it, ETFs. My goodness gracious. I mean, ETFs, I think I saw a stat that kind of blew my mind recently. It said we're approaching about $10 trillion in ETF activity these days, which is an astounding number. It still kind of pales in comparison to the big enchilada. But having said that, the growth is just astronomical. And there might at some point, it seems, be more ETFs than there are stocks at the rate of speed things are going. I mean, now you got ETFs that trade single companies, and you got 1.25 leverage to 2 leverage and all this stuff in between. And there seems like there's multiple ETFs even for individual stocks like Nvidia, at this point. But ETFs provide a wonderful way to de-risk your portfolio in so many different ways. And we're going to be talking a lot about that. And we're also going to be going through 3 different trading plans we have, all the way from, I would say, as simple as it could possibly be. And of course, then again, a lot like Successful Investor, the returns are going to be congruent with that message, right? All the way up to the very dynamic and trading triple leveraged contra ETFs. And it'll blow your mind at how good that one actually is. And it might change your opinion on how risky, it'll kind of debunk 2 things at once: how risky that arena is portrayed, and also debunk that they're only supposed to be used over the course of a single intraday position. And nothing could be further from the truth when you know what you're doing. Okay. Now, for people that don't know what they're doing, those folks are absolutely right. But it's about the complete systems. And if you follow the systems, they're doing very well. I think this last year, that triple leveraged fund ETF portfolio is up more than 30%. Maybe even more than that. I have to check VectorVest to be sure. But I mean, it's just, and the volatilities and the drawdowns and everything are not what you might think they are. And so anyway, that's going to be awesome. We're also going to talk about situational investing, and that is the last talk there, investing with precision. And what that is there are specialized situations that occur within the stock market at a given time. For example, there is a time to go bottom fishing. There is a time to kind of break the mold of what we traditionally do and go about things a completely different way, because that's where the money is. And there's also times where we should start getting defensive, before a market even gets into a confirmed down call. And there's high momentum phase of the market, right? Where even before you get it confirmed up, things look pretty good. And so what we do is we break that down. We take things, the way I would best describe this is about knowing what the market is doing and implementing tactics that are consistent with the current market behavior that you're observing. Okay, so that's what that last presentation is about, and it's super specialized. I mean, it's getting into the nitty gritty, and there's matter-of-fact things to look for and then matter-of-fact things to do based upon what you see. Okay, morning of day 2 starts off with retirement services. We dive into the basic understanding of what kinds of stocks need to largely be in your retirement portfolio, and then we go all the way out into creating more income with dividends and options, as we talked about earlier, along with using options for protection. Ron will follow that up. He is going to be there, which is great. I know Ron's been to Vegas maybe more times than I have, actually, and I've been a lot. But anyway, we're going to have some fun while we're there, I'm sure. But, the main reason why he'll be there is to help educate you guys, right? And that's going to be on using options in a way that he's developed, that he's consistently kicked tar out of the stock market for the last 20 years, using credit spreads and other methodologies. So he's going to be going through that while we're there, and that's awesome. And then we're going to get into some cherry picking and swing trading type tactics, starting with the MPI in the morning, and then going into Jerry's techniques for the 40% a year returns that he's been averaging. Boy, one of my favorites is in there. One that I've used a lot myself. Still do. Still talk about it all the time also. Linda Bradford Ratchke is going to be one of the things that we'll be talking about there, and she's great, and that's one of the methods that we're going to be discussing. She's got many. I'm not going to tell you exactly which one it is. You got to go to find out. But when you get there, you won't be disappointed, and it's really good. All right, and then finally, after we've learned all this stuff, now what we need to do is sort of, in a way, unpack and repack it, right? So we need to make sure that you know what you should be doing for yourself on Monday. We're going to have showed 3 completely distinct and different methods on how to use VectorVest to make money, ranging from the simplest all the way to the most, I don't want to say difficult, right? The one with the strongest potential, a little bit more intricate, right? And everything in between. But which of those 3 plans is likely best for you? Where are you, and where should you start if you don't know where to start at all, right? And that's going to be Successful Investor. I'll crack that egg right now. But the reality is, it's refocusing you, making sure that you're going to be following the plan that's going to be best for you, and that you know exactly what to start looking for on the market perspective and on the stock perspective and on the stop loss perspective and all of that starting the very next day, because the market will be open Monday and we're done Sunday, right? So you need a plan of action for literally 24 hours or a little less than 24 hours from when we wrap up. So that's our goal of our last presentation there, is to have your game plan ready for Monday, the following trading day. All right, so this brings us to my challenge to you guys. And it's going to come from a place, great quote I've used my whole life, whether it be sports or anything else, really. Ran across this back when I was in high school, and I still use it today. Isn't that something? But great old Abe Lincoln once said, and yes, he was great for those that are still wondering, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 hours sharpening my axe." So the main lesson here, as it applies to this potential point in time in your life, is what Abe Lincoln would tell you to do is spend the next 2 days that you can in Tampa. In Vegas this time around. So used to do it Tampa. In Vegas on September 2021st, spend those 2 days to get you ready for the rest of your life. It's a much better proposition. It's not nearly as difficult as sharpening an axe for 4 hours before you cut down a couple trees. It's about spending a couple days to change your life. And so you should do that, because it will change your life if you do, okay? So join us in Vegas. We prefer that you come live. That's where you get an opportunity not only to spend time with us, but also to spend time with one another. And we're going to try to do some things where we can get together a little bit, if possible, outside of the 2-day event even, and, fellowship and do those kinds of things. But get there because you can ask us any questions that you might have. You can also ask some of our power users, some of the people that have been with VectorVest's for a couple decades or more in certain cases. Unlike Tampa, I'm not exactly sure precisely who's going to be in the first couple rows at this event, but I do know some of the power users that are coming. And it would also behoove you to spend a little bit of time with those folks while you're there as well. Okay? So all you got to do is go to VectorVest.com/Vegas, and you're about to see that you're not going to have a better offer than what we've got for you here, because what we've got for you here is not even going to cover day one of food and beverage. so that come to the Venetian. The rooms on discount might be gone. Maybe there's 1 or 2 stragglers left. But I kind of think, based on where we were last week, that may no longer be true. You can inquire. They have a beautiful casino. I've actually stayed here before. It's wonderful. If you bring a significant other, you can take one of these beautiful gondola rides, that kind of thing. But it's just a really great casino to begin with. More importantly, you get time to hang out with all of us. All you got to do is go to VectorVest.com/Vegas. It's only $95. And you ought to see. We thought that doing events was getting more expensive. You ought to try doing an event in Las Vegas on the Strip. I think we knocked tens of thousands of dollars off of the cost. Just to give you some pretty easily. Just to give you some guidance there. This can't be beat. The only reason we charge anything at all is because it's stunning. Having run the education department for a number of years, more than a decade at one point, even if we charge $10, people show up. If it's free, they just don't come. It's got to be some kind of mental block of some kind. I don't know, but really, by charging $95, we know you're going to be there. Believe it or not, the people that sign up come. That's the bottom line. You sign up for free, 60% of you won't even show up. Those are the numbers. That's how it works. So $95 gets you there. What else can I say about that? As far as costs, that's not even going to cover day one. Not even close. If for some reason you can't make it there, okay? VectorVest.com/stream. VectorVest.com/stream. You can sign up for free, and you will have access to all the presentations for those 2 days, okay? And, of course, everything is being recorded, and if things go as they did in Vegas, you do an annual subscription, you'll have access, I believe, to the stream, okay, to those recordings. So well worth it when, if you're thinking about attending, and also if you're thinking about re-upping your annual subscription. Definitely worth doing on all fronts. Get the knowledge you need, and everything is just roses from there. Okay. All right. I don't see any questions here so far, and there's really not any more content to go through. So I just want to say this. I just want to finally say one last time, do this event. Get there if at all possible. It will be worth it. I can promise you that. We have a good group already signed up. So, we are going. We got plenty of people already. But be there as well. It's going to be worth your time to go. It recharges your batteries, okay? Even if you've been with VectorVest for 15 years. I got people that go to Tampa every single year. I said I've missed 2 seminars over the last 24. They even went to those, and I wasn't there. David did anyway. But they go you say, well, why do they keep going? And I asked them one time. It was like 5th or 6th year. I said, man, why are you back for year 5? Don't you know all this stuff already? They said, well, yeah, I know, I'm doing well. The thing is, I learned a little bit of something every time I come. and it makes it worth it. So take advice from us, take advice from our subscribers who have been before you, take advice from the people who have gone literally 24 years in a row to an event just to make sure that they're not missing anything that they might have missed from the time before. And, it's second nature to us. We deal with VectorVest every single day. But for a lot of you guys and gals, you're not in front of VectorVest as much as we are. Get to the places where you're going to get the information you need from the people you need it. We'll see you in Vegas, guys. We'll see you in Vegas. If not, get on that stream, VectorVest.com/stream. So go to either one of those websites, okay? www.VectorVest.com/Vegas. That's to go live and in person. $95. You're saving $400 per person right now, okay? If you can't do that, go to VectorVest.com/stream. Sign up for free. We hope to see you there. See you guys. See you soon.